Hi, my name is Damon Roberts, and I'm here to talk to you about how to build a PC. Have you ever considered building a PC? Well, it's fairly easy as long as you remember the three P's, which is the parts, the process, and the power. I've built many computers so far, and I'm going to go ahead and help you with the basics of building one. So first off, you want to go ahead and get your parts in order, which is usually the tower, which holds everything else, the power supply, the motherboard, the processor, the storage device, the graphics cards, heatsink for your processor, and any other peripherals you want to plug it in. The outside comes with monitor, keyboard, mouse, speakers, or indoor headset if you have that kind of thing. So let's go ahead and get started with putting it all together. So first off, you want to go ahead and put the processor into the motherboard, which would be a square slot on the motherboard. Plug in your RAM, which would be 2 to 4 sticks, depending on what you bought. And then if you have an M.2 storage device or an NVMe, go ahead and plug that in on the spots on the motherboard. So then go ahead and mount your motherboard up to the case, which usually comes with screws for it. And then we'll get started with the rest, which is the heatsink or the fan. You attach it on top of the processor, screw it down, plug in the storage devices. If you got the original, the old, bigger storage devices, plug those into the cables where into the case where they belong. And then you want to go ahead and plug in the graphics card and then put the power supply in the bottom of the case. This being only the first half, which the second half being the cabling. Cabling includes the main power supply, which is usually a 16 to 24 pin uh, cable, which goes directly on usually the right side of the motherboard. You won't be able to miss it. Um, the graphics card power cables, which is usually 2 or 3 heads labeled PCIe. The processor, which is usually 1 to 1.5 heads named CPU. And then and then you want to go ahead and power up the power cables from the storage devices to the power supply. And make sure you plug in your heatsink and the rest of your fans to your motherboard. Then you go to the transfer cables, which is you go to a card SATA cables, which you plug from the motherboard to the storage devices if you have the bigger ones. Next thing you know, you boot it up, and then you just load up whatever OS you have, and that's pretty much the basics of building a computer. Now there is more advanced ways to build a computer, but you can go online, look at YouTube videos or any documents, blogs, whatever you need. But I showed you using the basic 3 Ps of building a computer: parts, process, and power. This has been Damien Roberts. Thank you very much.